Hello, this single mother of 26-year-old by name Yamkela Sikapuganda has been brutally assaulted by her 35-year-old boyfriend. He brutally assaulted her up to the extent where he damaged the blood veins underneath her eyes and break her nose. Guys, this all happened in the township of Khayelitsha in Cape Town. So let's get into this crime story. Guys, our crime story today is going to take us to Khayelitsha, Cape Town, South Africa, where there lived our 26-year-old Yamkela Sikapugana, who was dating 35-year-old man. His name is unknown. Together they had a child. They have been dating for 3 years. And their relationship has been a violent and turbulent one. Up to the extent the man often locks Yamkela Sikapugana in his house, preventing her from going out and preventing her not to see people. He oftentimes established a curfew, telling her when you go out, 2 p.m. you should be back at home. And if you don't get back at home by 2 p.m., you'll be dealt with. So Yamkela lived with this man for 3 years in fear. And her family members did not know she was in an abusive, violent relationship. It was on the 15th of July 2022 when Yamkela left home to go visit a friend. When she visited a friend, she stayed at the friend due to the violent relationship she had with her boyfriend. She could not return home. She simply was explaining and venting her anger of what has been going on in her relationship to her friend. And she decided to stay right up to 8 p.m. Her friend decided to take her home, but she refused, that this man is going to kill me. So she left instead from her friend to her sister's house, whose name is Yonela, who happens to be 28 years of age. Her sister took her in. And this man called her, "Where are you? Where are you? Where are you, Yamkela?" But Yamkela refused responding. She told her sister that, "I'm so scared of going back home." Then her sister asked, "Why are you so scared of going back to your boyfriend's house, of whom you have a child with?" She said, "This man is going to kill me." Her sister said on the article that she did not know that her younger sister, 26 years old Yamkela, is in an abusive, violent relationship. So she took her sister in, and her sister slept throughout the night. In the morning, this man called her, told her to come home, but she refused. This man kept on begging her, "Please come home," but she still refused. She later on heard from her neighbors that that man had took out all her dresses and burned them outside of his house, simply because Yamkela refused to return home. So Yamkela decided to keep on living with her sister. But when her sister left to go do grocery, the man called her again, crying and begging her to come home, and she decided to come home. She went home this time. And when she went home, she was thoroughly beaten. Guys, this is her photo. The photo of her being beaten after being beaten by her husband. The hospital report said she sustained a broken nose, and the veins underneath her eye has been seriously damaged. You can see, look at her eyes. You can see that there is blood clot underneath her eyes. Isn't this so evil? Let's carry on. So Yamkela's sister came back home after doing groceries. She could not find her sister. So she decided to call her number. Her number rang for 2 or 3 times, and it was switched off. After 3 hours, this 35-year-old boyfriend of Yamkela called Yonela, 28 years old, Yamkela's sister, telling her that her sister is missing. Upon hearing the news, she was in shock. She said, "How can my sister be missing? When I left my home to go do the groceries, my sister was here. I came back, my sister isn't here, and my sister is missing." That's what the 35-year-old boyfriend said, so she was in shock. She decided to contact the police. And the police came to the house of the 35-year-old boyfriend. When the police asked the 35-year-old boyfriend that, "Where is Yamkela, your girlfriend?" The 35-year-old boyfriend told the police that Yamkela is missing. But the police later on heard Yamkela screaming behind the scenes, in one of the rooms of the shack where her boyfriend lived. Can someone please help me? Can someone please help me? And the police immediately dashed into action, arresting her boyfriend of 35 years of age and setting Yamkela free. She was immediately taken to the hospital where it was established that she had sustained a broken nose and the veins underneath her eyes have been damaged, proving that there is blood clot underneath her eyes. So guys, first of all, this is a very cruel, shocking crime story ever. This is so hard. Looking at her picture, looking at her before and after, it's shocking. But there is something I want you all sisters to know. Now I'm going into my analogy that, immediately this sister Yamkela, was being told by neighbors that this guy, this 35-year-old boyfriend of yours, had already taken out all your dresses outside of the house which he was living in. He has burned them all. You should know that's danger. She herself knew for herself this guy is danger. This guy is going to kill her. Why did she still return after this guy had called her crying? Why did she return? There are some sisters who want to be, I don't know if it is too much love these men give them, stupid love potion that makes them to lose their mind, and just all what they think of is not even their safety. It's about these men. She already knew the situation, the relationship. It was a violent and turbulent one. This man will oftentimes lock her up and place a curfew that when you go immediately, when it's 2 p.m., you should be back. And oftentimes lock her up so that she can't even see people. So she knew at that time, when she went out, she did the right thing. She stayed at her sister's home. She wouldn't have gone back to her boyfriend after her boyfriend called her crying. She should have just stayed with her sister and look for a way to get her child out of that man's house, then live like that peacefully with her child. So what because if this man would have killed her, the fact that this man had already said she is missing, that means this man had an intention of killing her. This man had already called her sister saying she is missing. So this man had an intention of killing her, although this intention wasn't really, brought to reality, but there was an intention there. If you are going to call your girlfriend's sister and tell her, that your girlfriend is missing, her sister is missing, meaning you have an intention of killing her. So it's so shocking. So